Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Joan. How are you? I'm going up a little bit early tonight, and I probably go a little bit overtime because we got so much stuff going on. Even though it seems like it's been a quiet news day since the banks, the news on the banks, the um, drone action, the Pentagon. Don't forget the Pentagon has the TV generals. Okay. So we'll keep that in mind. But they're making the announcement that there's a mothership that may be in our galaxy, our solar system, that's spying on us, all that kind of fun stuff. So let's see who's coming in. Lone Wolf's here. Mike, how you doing? Sherry, Conservative Patriot, how you doing? Marla, Quilt. And I meant to, well, let's see when she comes in. I should have. Hello, Mr. Kibler. Hello, B-Dog. Georgia, how you doing? Quilt, Marla, everybody, and Bubba's here. Everybody's filing in. That's good. How you doing, Bubba? Next week should be exciting, Jamie says. Well, it hasn't every week been something popping up. We don't know what's going on. Hi, Joy. Hi, Reba. So yeah, it should be exciting. But the news is that I've seen on a lot of people's thumbnails is, oh, what was going around about Putin. The International Criminal Court filed a warrant to have Putin arrested. So I put on Truth Social a meme and also a little video of Putin laughing and covering his face for a second, saying, "You make me laugh." They're toothless. They're toothless. They're just like what I discussed a long time ago. People who've been with me for a while probably remember where I talked about when Karl Marx wrote a letter to Abraham Lincoln when Lincoln won his second term. And let me see. That's what I likened the WEF and these other clubs that have been started in the UN and in the whatever that other group is, that they give themselves these titles, that we're supposed to really go, oh my gosh, I got a letter from the international, this is it, the International Working Men's Association of 1864. Oh my gosh, the General Council of the International Working Men's Association. And it's a 3-page bunch of gibberish. But anyway, I'll go over that some other time. But they had about as much authority as, the Boy Scouts. But they try to make themselves seem important, and they are self-important. Isn't that one of the first symptoms of a Marxist? Self-importance in the name of saving the world. So anyway, let's see. Sharon's here. Tennessee's here. Happy days, Jax. How you doing? Camperman's here. Jersey Joe. Doc Ghost. Melvita, how you? So everybody's rolling in. That's good. Lori's here. I should have texted Nikki. I didn't get you. I thought you would have her show wrapped up. But no. Well, she hadn't yet, but she'll be here soon, I'm sure. And I will tell her I'm sorry I didn't text her beforehand. I should have. But anyway, we've always got a good crowd. Once in a while, we'll get somebody to come in that doesn't know what's going on. Hi, Wolfpack. She just ending. Oh, okay. Okay. Hi, Ronald. How you doing? So we got this big thing come out, coordinated, I think, that Putin's got a warrant out for him and also that they're going to be arresting Donald J. Trump. BCP put out a thumbnail. He's got Trump and Putin on the screen and says, in the same boat. Trump and Putin are in the same boat. And then another video from NBC New York says Trump indictment with a question mark. New York City preps underway as Manhattan decision looms. New York City steps up security for possible Trump indictment. So everybody, tensions, of course, are rising. And I've also got my thumbnail. It's time. Now, Mr. T said that when he was talking about it's time for tariffs, but it might be time for something else too. Let's hope. DBL ought. Buck Prep. I just call you DBL. Hi, Nikki. How you doing? I was just saying I should have texted you. And we're glad you made it. Of course, we're hoping you get here. Hi, Cheryl. Would Putin be the first threat to shock the world? Cheryl Half says, no, I don't think so. They couldn't touch Putin. Still people come in the chats, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what they refer to as the posture of that situation is. That arrest warrant that they issued for Putin. They can't touch him. They can't put their hands on him. It's a joke. And they also issued charges, if you'll remember, years ago against George Bush. So it's like any other unelected, unappointed bunch from the United Nations or from whatever group. They have been infiltrated heavily enough by Marxist influences that they're going to get these so-called judges to put out these things. Now, if they would put out as much emphasis on Putin's past speeches as they do on this group that does not represent any country, is not a world leader, is not any kind of elected official. Putin is a statesman, whether they like it or not, in one of the largest nuclear superpowers in the world. And they do not repeat his statements in his speeches. And if they did, well, I'll tell you a few of them. He said that the Western civilization has been taken over by satanic forces. It's his quote. It's a quote from a international leader that's not being repeated. And that's what their battle is for. He said, look what they do to their own people. Look what they're doing to their own people, especially their little ones. Okay, he calls it right out. But now you get some bunch of, like I said, Marxist-influenced, appointed little bozos we issue a warrant for his arrest. Go try to arrest him and see what happens to you. Give it a try. So I said that early in this business when they were talking about lawfare. There's a reason you don't see judges running around on a battlefield in black robes and lawyers running around on a battlefield with briefcases, because it doesn't work. Okay, this is WAR. We were told that by Mr. T many times. And that kind of strategy in the end is not going to work. It's going to delay. It's going to delay, they think. But they're really just exposing more and more. And we're finding out more and more of people who have been compromised, who are using either legal, medical, pig Latin to get around breaking law. And who's helping them enforce it? Let's say, for instance, this judge that is jamming up Trump's lawyers. He has cited them for contempt. He's trying to fine them. Well, he is fining them, but it's going to be appealed because they're saying Trump filed a frivolous lawsuit against Hillary and her cronies. That's just exposing a judge that's been in for almost 30 years, that has always been left-leaning and has contributed to the Al Gore, George Bush recount debacle. Now, all these judges that are coming out of the woodwork, I'll go over them. I'll mention an article when I mention a judge or I mention a ruling that sounds insane. Just remember what I'm saying right here. They're making a list and checking it twice about prosecutors and judges. Okay, so that's just one. We got the education system. We've got the administrative state as a whole, where people are having to come out and expose themselves as their underlings are either resigning or being arrested or being fired. So it's whittling away at the DS apparatus, deep, in the other words, state. Hi, Cosette says St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland. Let me put that up there. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Oh, I hit Jersey Joe's, and Jersey Joe said, hi, Diamond. There we go, Cosette. There you go. You look like an Irish lass. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see. I got to say hi to people. Hi, Diamond. Everybody's coming in. That's good to see. Yes, Nikki said hit the thumbs up. Ha ha ha. Hit the thumbs up, everybody. I appreciate it if you do. Donna, how are you doing? Yeah, we got everybody coming in. That's good to hear. Yeah. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. They say on St. Patty Day, everybody's Irish. But I'm Irish all the time. I'm an Irish kraut. Hi, L. Griswold. How you doing? Cheryl says 16 police officers were arrested. Yeah, there's a lot of stories like that going around, Cheryl. Even, if you sit there and go through, look up Polk County, Polk, in Florida, that sheriff a lot of us know about, Grady Judd. He's done a lot of arrests. Let's see, his latest one was a police chief in Florida was arrested. If I've got that, or I can trip across it as I go along, he's arrested the police chief just yesterday. I think it was the day before yesterday. And he has arrested in his state a lot of so-called law enforcement, and also in his own department. I mean, none of them are safe if they cross Sheriff Grady Judd, and he's one of many sheriffs across our country. Ha ha, Lori, you got quite a mix there. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, don't y'all drink too much green beer. But we got stuff like I got this article here. I'm not doing a picture show, but I saw this person last year is still up to their little stunt, and it's an activist, a TRANS activist that last year announced and apparently continuing to do it, accused of S3X abuse boasts of plans to illegally distribute hormones to children. If you need hormones, I'm working with a distribution network to get you access. Everything is free, no questions asked. Now, I know that there's laws against that, okay? There's laws against that. And what they do, as I said before, Pig Latin. You put it in any of the fields I talk about, legal, medical. This is political Pig Latin, okay? A mix of political and legal Pig Latin. They take a criminal act, but they couch it in terms of, they use terms like safety, caring, protection, okay? That we're protecting the young ones. That's part of the "they are not your children" drive. Your children don't belong to you. And we're doing it to protect them from people who are bullying them because they are trapped in another person's or another the wrong physical body. Okay, so that's a nice way of saying when they break the law, what they actually did was provide substances to minors that are unlawful, and you go to jail for that. So a lot of people are going to be going to jail, not by some big military operation, but they know if this upcoming 2024 closer and closer and closer every day. If what they're afraid of happens, if Mr. T gets in there, nobody walks away. And they can use politically correct terminology all they want, but a crime is a crime, okay? Lewd and lascivious acts, okay? Giving out prescription medications without the parents knowing, or without being a physician. Here's one that cropped up: a former Florida DEA agent arrested in FBI drug investigation. You know, that's been going on a long time, where you have people in positions of law enforcement that are involved in the trade, okay? Now, the U.S. Department of Education puts Virginia on notice, getting compliance or face sanctions. I didn't get a chance to read that, but I can tell you what. We know the U.S. Department of Education has been called by Mr. T a Marxist cabal, okay? And we see now, I know when Nikki went over on her show with Jax and other guests, stories about how they're trying to mold young people's minds when they're in a very impressionable age. And all the money that's being pumped into that racket, and the decrepit state of schools, and the fact of the matter is that no children can pass tests according to their grade level. But not only that, I would wager that most teachers who are teaching that grade level couldn't even pass the test. It's that bad. And they're focusing on social constructs, political indoctrination, okay, and getting grants and pumping money to third parties, quote, nonprofits, and it is a fleecing of America. And it's also dividing families and driving a wedge. And so all this stuff is gonna be like hitting a brick wall. And they know it's coming. It's coming. And what can stop it? Oh, that's right, nothing. So now I know DeSantis. I don't waste my time with worrying about who endorsed DeSantis over Trump and stuff like that. I mean, that's a political process that's going to plays out in every election. You've got to have some kind of friction. There's an axiom in politics: if you peak too soon in your popularity, you can start a downward slide. That's happened with politicians in the past. I think this business of putting an opponent or two in the arena with Trump, it keeps things interesting. Trump doesn't peak too soon because we are, a ways off to the 2024. So that is a political situation that I don't trouble myself with, but I look at everybody's actions, like DeSantis putting out a film showing actually what they do with these so-called they call them bottom surgeries, right? And they show, where they do skin grafts from the forearm. It's something that if you can get on Truth Social to see it, if you're sensitive, obviously don't do it. But if you're not overly sensitive, it'll repulse you, but you need to see it. And it's happening to kids, okay? That's going to come to a stop. Now, what we're going to do about a situation like this, where in Idaho, Department of Corrections, a convicted P3DO, okay, who actually committed a forcible act, I'll put it that way, who actually committed a forcible act on a little one, sued the Idaho Department of Corrections, a violent S3X offender who was incarcerated for the abuse of a 15-year-old, has been awarded more than $2.5 million in legal fees after suing the state of Idaho for withholding gender-affirming surgery. So the state is being compelled to perform this surgery at whose expense? Of course, us. And the money, who did the money go to? Attorneys fees. So this person who is obviously got a criminal mindset because they're in jail for being convicted of a criminal act, so they must have a criminal mindset, is being further driven into a what I call inherently evil psychiatric condition, being drove even further into that by winning this case. Their reward is going to be the alteration of their physical being and a further exacerbation of the psychological issues, the criminal psychological construct in their mind, okay? And the lawyers get rewarded, the taxpayers get screwed over, okay? That's another thing. Who is involved in that? Do these lawyers need to have a license? Did the judge make a decision or a jury? I don't know, but if I had to guess, I couldn't see a jury in Idaho coming up with this kind of award. I can't see it. So making a list, checking it twice about if a judge came up with this. That's a situation where, it may behoove investigators to say, okay, let's see whose bank accounts got a little fatter over this. Somebody's wife, maybe. They always say, watch the wives, right? That's going to happen with Dr. Ouchie. That's going to come next. We watched the Tweety files. I read over them, and that is a perfect example of this pig Latin they use to justify the simple fact of information suppression, okay, censorship, and psychological operations, okay? How they use the terminology in those emails. So, hi, Patriot Starfighter, how are you doing? So we have to find out now what we're going to do with a situation like that. I don't know, but as far as the schools are concerned, that's going to be gotten out of the schools. As far as these prison systems, getting in situations where the taxpayer has to pay for it. Now, here's another thing, and I've got a couple of articles on it, where things are not looking good. This desperation move, where you have a coordinated attack, so-called, quote, legal attack on Putin and Trump simultaneous. Maybe not to the hour, but to the day. You have things coming out like this. Proud Boy's judge admits that texts that he texted stuff that was bashing Trump, and that he was participating in drunken Telegram videos. The internet's forever. It's just like the Strzok and Page texts. They never go away. And that stuff's coming out. And also, you have the Proud Boys attorneys are filing in court to go to get the ability to use the new video that's been released by J6. That's also coming to the fore. So you got the judge in charge of that case was not behaving in a way that benefits jurisprudence, and he's also a drunk apparently that shows it off on the internet. Not good. So what do they say? Well, let's arrest Trump. Okay, we'll see how that turns out. Now, they're still talking about this business in outer space. They were talking about that dandelion probe that would sprout all these little drones that would pop out, and thousands of them go all over and spy on us for aliens. And they've gone as far to say that the Pentagon issued a warning that an alien mothership might be in our solar system. That is the mothership launched the dandelion probe that will burst out with all these little things. But then you also see reports that drones from CHYNA and a huge number of satellites have been launched by CHYNA. And I remember seeing a video where in Beijing, where for some reason drones like we're used to seeing, little quadricopters with 4 propellers on them and a camera, you can hold them in your hand, but they're still, pretty good size. They were dropping out of the sky in Beijing. This was last year. I don't know how many of you all ever saw that video, but it was nighttime and it was a courtyard, kind of like people were walking around. I mean, hundreds of people in this town square or whatever, city square, where people were gathering and going shopping and stuff. And these things just started plunk, 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 plunk. I mean, every 20 or 30 feet, one would hit the ground just over that one. And it was a large group of people, but just over that group of people in that video, you probably saw 30 or 40 drones drop. So after the balloon business and the embarrassment, what if they have something like that? I mentioned during the videos where we discussed the spy balloon, I was talking about how large the so-called payload was, large as a jetliner. I said it could have been holding drones. You know, those things are hard to track. They go below a certain altitude. Your radar ain't going to pick them up. If you don't see them, you don't get eyeballs on them. What are you going to do? We don't have the ability to track every bird in the sky. And these drones are smaller than a vulture or eagle or a condor. But they sure can gather a lot of information. They sure can see a lot of things with a camera. They sure can transmit information very quickly to the other side of the earth. So we were talking about that with the mothership of the balloon. Was it dispensing drones? How many of those hand-sized drones could be contained in a structure as big as a jetliner hanging underneath that balloon? Quite a few. So all of a sudden here we find out there's going to be aliens setting off the drones, and we get that information from the Pentagon. Oh yes, we can trust the Pentagon generals. Wait a minute, they're TV generals. TV generals. And Trump told us not to trust the TV generals. COCs, Combat Operations Commanders. That's who's in charge at the time of war. But anyway, so yeah, before they get you going too much on staying awake at night over a mothership in our solar system with dandelion probes, just remember it's more than likely some $50 drones you could buy off of eBay that come from CHYNA that have been dumped off and that are infiltrating our sensitive areas that you can't track. And if people start spotting them like they did the spy balloons, oh yeah, it's an alien mothership. So don't fall for it, folks. They're not going to make a monkey out of me. So I was talking about Grady Judd, and I was saying that we've got a lot of sheriffs all over this country. And I took a screenshot of something Marjorie Taylor Greene put out. She had a hearing about the border, right? And she said Democrats didn't show up because they said our border hearing was, quote, political. And then she put Sheriff Griffiths of Ector County just told us fentanyl doesn't discriminate and doesn't care about your politics. Fentanyl just KILLs you. Okay? So our sheriffs are going to be very important. We've got a lot of stories of where they have intervened and put their foot down concerning the ATF overreach. Oh, did you know that the Alec Baldwin case, there was a ruling that supports the Second Amendment? Came out the other day before yesterday. How many of you have heard that? So there's a silver lining. What they tried to do was charge Alec Baldwin with an offense, a weapons offense, that they passed the law after whatever action he's being charged with. In other words, called ex post facto law. If you do something, Congress can't pass a law against it and go backwards in time to charge you because it is ex post facto. It's after the fact. So they are applying that to the ATF business of what was it? The braces, the pistol braces. They're saying, well, that's an ex post facto law. You can't let people buy these things for years, own them, and be law-abiding citizens, then pass a law. First of all, the ATF does not pass laws. They pass regulations, but they cannot pass an ex post facto regulation. So thank you, Alex Baldwin, but I hope you still go to jail for what you did. So that's my personal opinion. So at the same time, this Proud Boys judge, he refused that J6 evidence, their ability to see the evidence. Now, of course, that's going to be appealed. And he also kind of stood in the way of them doing anything about Ray EPPS, okay? Kind of like the notion is that he's protecting that individual. This particular judge I was just talking about earlier. So let me just see what's going on in the chat. So I'm going to talk about Mr. T here in a bit. So hope everybody's doing okay. Oh, I got a new banner. I want to thank everybody, and I got it to scroll across the bottom. It's not that hard to do. I didn't know that. But this is a viewer-supported and creator-supported channel only. I don't get any help from anybody anywhere, only the viewers. I appreciate everybody that's helped me out. I got it scrolling across the bottom there. And I remembered to put Tennessee's name in, Mary's name, Pamela's in there, everybody, Lone Wolf, Camperman, Aaron, Simpson, Mary, Killer Fuzz, somebody one, somebody two, Mac, Canis, Clinting. They're all scrolling about. I'll leave it scrolling right along the bottom. Ha ha. So, yeah, I got a link in the description if y'all want to help out the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll give a shout out to Aaron. He just about an hour before I went live, he bought me some coffee. So thank you, Aaron. And I'm glad things are going well for you. So, hi, Hilarious too. How are you? A Google account's here. I'll be darned. How you doing? Hi, Diane. What the truck's in here? How you doing? Welcome aboard. Stephanie, hi. Well, we got, I always say to pay attention to things Mr. T puts out. Even if people think, well, it's redundant, repetitive, things like that, I still read every word. And a couple of days ago, he put out a statement that said there must, in capital letters, there must be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad while they turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. Okay, folks? So he's bringing up that term more and more, Marxist. He called the Department of Education a Marxist cabal. He's referred to the National Archives as a being infiltrated by Marxists and putting warning labels on our Constitution, saying they have a problem with our Constitution. So that term is going around more by Trump, and I'm paying attention. Now, he put out a statement concerning this so-called imminent indictment. So that was today. So that will be up at the top of my selection here. And he put a letter statement from the Trump campaign on the Manhattan DA's witch hunt. And if you all don't mind, I'll go ahead and read it. So we're all up to date on what Mr. T has to say officially. And remember, letters are very powerful and carry legal weight. So rather than a tweet or a posting on Truth Social or a speech, letters, okay, they can be submitted into evidence and they show your direction, what you're doing. Statement from the Trump campaign on the Manhattan DA's witch hunt. President Donald J. Trump is completely innocent. He did nothing wrong. And even the biggest, most radical left Democrats are making that clear. From Russia to the Mueller hoax, to impeachment hoaxes 1 and 2, and even the unlawful Mar-a-Lago raid. Democrats have investigated and attacked President Trump since before he was elected, and they failed every time. And if I get a chance, I'll go into what they did to us in 2016, okay? Where we never really got a day to celebrate a victory. But anyway, so let me see where I left off here. Now, Democrats are at it again, pushing the nuclear button and attacking a president because of a disgraced extortionist. That would be Michael Cohen or Avenatti. This is happening because President Trump is leading in the polls by large margins against both Democrats and Republicans, and there's never been anything so blatant in American political history. If the Democrats can do this to President Trump, they can do it to you. And that is one thing my father always said. If you're thinking about what you're going to vote for, if you get a good fuzzy feeling because you say, oh, we're going to get those people, just remember, they can come around and get you. So the latest witch hunt is being brought on by George Soros-backed radical left Democrat prosecutor Alvin Bragg. Bragg has made political donations to fellow radical Democrats like Raphael Warnock. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Raphael Warnock out of Georgia is not just a radical Democrat. He is a avowed communist, but we stick with the term Marxist, okay? So, and now Bragg is making a political donation of a different kind to Joe Biden. Everyone knows it's a sham. In fact, the Department of Justice stocked the DA's office with top people from D.C. to help, quote, get Trump, unquote, at a local level. Americans will not tolerate radical left Democrats turning our justice system into an injustice system to influence a political election, which is all they want to do. Our country is not going to let this happen. This will backfire massively for the Democratic Party and end in disgrace for our nation. That's from spokesperson Stephen Chung. So we've heard, okay, I've told you before, you're out of here. Okay, Deez, D-E-E-Z, change your name and come back, but you don't use filthy names in my broadcast, so you're out of here. Goodbye. Anyway, so now where are we at? Go make somebody else's live stream look like guttural garbage. Okay, let's see. All right. So anyway, Trump put out his official statement. I've gone over these tweeties, and I don't know how many of you all gone over them, but I have to be very careful, you know. And I got a video removed, and the next time I have a problem, I won't be around for a week, if not worse than that. So I've got to do another backup. I'm still, working on that, but it's like, gee, at some point they just do like they do to creators and just take them all, So I don't want to be in that situation. But also I hope that you all check out my Bumble channel, Mountain Man Speaks, right? That's where all my videos get forwarded to. And if I get enough of a crowd over there, I would do live streams over there where I could speak freely. And anyway, that's the plan. So I'll try to do one more here. Well, I might do two. I might do one for a backup for here, and then do one where I eventually someday would be doing some vintage things that I'm going to divest myself of because I can't take it with me. I'm getting old, and a lot of people might be interested in some curiosities, books, and a lot of different things. From the 50s, 60s, 30s, 40s, 1800s. Just oddities, curiosities, and things like that. That I would rather let go to people who I know and people that support me. But I have to figure out how to do it in a way where I don't end up with people that are disruptive or on that particular channel. It's just got to be people that we're on the same page with, and not somebody causing trouble. Searching for UFOs. I'm in the UK, and we invented time zones in Australia and the USA. I apologize for all of them. Well, searching for UFOs, your first post on this channel, I get to put you up there because I have said in my past broadcasts, in the fall, you just crank the clock back a half an hour and completely stop screwing around with the time. Let's see. Hi, honey. How are you doing? You're from the UK too. We got everybody coming in. I need to start at 8:50 more often. It's like they just picked up on what was set free as I got checked for being a fact. Oh, Facebook yesterday. Yeah. Yep. You can't talk normally on any of these platforms. We are sorry for everything else, Jack says. Well, we're going to try to straighten it out. But we're all in agreement. We passed a resolution on one of my live streams about getting rid of the moving the time around. Just split the difference, half an hour backwards, fall back half an hour, and then stop. Everybody start living their lives without being conditioned. Hi, Em. How are you doing? So anyway, I do want to talk real quick a little bit more about this Putin warrant. Putin in his speeches, and I'm going to have to get probably a couple of clips and do it on Sundays. I'm going to do the picture shows, but he's come out and said in no uncertain terms, this is a battle of good and evil. This is a battle between God and Satan. Okay. No, I don't like Putin's. He grew up in a communist country. Okay, they're slowly changing their system. It's completely different from Stalinist time, but it's far from perfect. But it's not Satanism. Okay, and also when he met with Trump in Helsinki, he named names as to who were intelligence officials that were in his response to speech during his press conference to Trump. He mentioned an intelligence officer by name that got multiple millions of dollars from Russia, illegally didn't claim it or declare it for tax purposes or nothing, and also donated hundreds of millions to the Clinton campaign. That was said before the world. Then the attacks on Trump really intensified after that statement by Putin. So I might have to play that again, or play it where there's a transcript underneath it. But this international court saying that they've issued a warrant. There's no one that can enforce that warrant, no one that can go get him. It is not worth the paper it's written on, and it's all for show. But there are millions of Americans and millions of people around the world who think it's, oh gosh, Putin's a fugitive. He could give a rat's behind about that warrant. Okay? And he's coming with his own warrants. And if they keep screwing around, he won't stop at Ukraine. Okay? He won't stop at Ukraine. There's heinous international criminal acts being perpetrated all over the damn place. And we have treaties with Russia and Russia's allies and our allies where we can hunt them down like dogs in the night for international criminal activity. So they know it. And these are last gasps. This business of the judge that's trying to attack Trump's attorneys, fine them, okay, have them disbarred, force them to testify against Trump in a grand jury hearings. All these things, these are I consider to be attacks on the Constitution, attacks on Trump's civil rights, and the attacks on the individual attorneys. You're finding out who's behind, who is doing this. This deep, state has finally been put in a position where they have to pull out their big guns when they're using federal judges to go after private attorneys. Okay, they're using the top federal judge in that district in Florida to go after Trump's attorneys. They're resorting to their big guns, not just these little mooks running around that are getting rooted out. Some of them arrested. Oh, did I say mook like Robbie Mook? Okay, just remember the names, because the next one coming around the corner is going to be John Durham. And I think he's going to strike when they definitely least expect it. And when we least expect it, I think that's when we're going to be hearing something. Some fruits of the John Durham's labors and his son. And remember the fact that he's coordinating with the office of the Inspector General out of Utah, which is beyond the reach, okay, of these judges of the Magic Kingdom. That's what they call DC, the Magic Kingdom, outside of their reach. And the Inspector General out of Utah has over 400 full-time investigators involved. And that's, we've gone over the sealed indictments. a number of times here. I put up a site that you all go check it out. Was it over 300,000 last time we looked? I remember when everybody was going wild when it was approaching 75,000. Never in history, as far as federal courts go, sealed indictments, were there 75,000. Unprecedented. That's when we were allowed to talk about it on UTizzle. And guess who's got their channel back on UTizzle? Mr. T. Okay? And guess who left UTizzle? I don't know if I can say her name without I can say it by messing things up. Her name was Susan, was the first name. And the second name was Wudge Iski, right? Remember? In charge of YouTube. No fanfare, no warning. She's gone. She's gone. And who's coming back? Mr. T. Yeah, Cleveland, Clever Clear, you're gonna end up getting that one taken down because you're using too many emojis, buddy. So you'll probably have to sit out for a couple. We don't allow that kind of emojis. It just draws attention to the channel. Appreciate it. You'll probably get a 3-minute timeout for that, or whatever it is. 5-minute timeout for too many emojis. And keywords, that'll get you a. But you're new here, Clever Clear, you're welcome aboard, but you can't put a bunch of emojis, capital letters. It just draws the AI right to my channel. So anyway, you can do that standing on your head 5 minutes, but you're welcome to come back. So anyway, those are things to keep in mind, and some of them may be repeating, but you can talk to friends who are waking up and tell them these are natural facts. These are lawful facts. These are things that are happening internationally. I talked about things that are happening domestically, things that are happening with our legal system that are real. None of it's fantastic. None of it's conspiracy theories, except for what the Pentagon's putting out. And I feel very justified in thinking that it could be a psyop to cover up where a lot of nickel-dime drones were released all through the heartland of the United States. They got them where I can put a square piece of wood on my roof, and I could sit inside my house, and I can have that drone land on that square piece of wood and sit there all night, all week, all month, solar battery charging. I can fire it up again, take it off from the platform on my roof or on a platform I build in a tree somewhere 10 miles away. And through the internet, I can pilot that drone and have it land right back at its home base or anywhere it saves in its GPS. So it's a lot more advanced than people realize. And so, yeah, let's just say that there's a mothership in our Milky Way that sent a dandelion craft that will burst like a dandelion, send out a lot of alien probes. Okay, not China, not CHYNA beat us to the punch just like they did with the balloons. So anyway, folks, I'm coming up on my hour. I said I would go over an hour. Just see how everybody's doing. If y'all up to going over an hour, looks like we got a lot of people in the chats. And see if there's anything anybody wants to talk about or any questions. Mr. T is also okay, yeah. But is he going to go back on Tweety, Debbie? He's on Slapbook. That's slap in the face. Is that what you mean? Miss Mendersu, sessions need to come out. It's P3DO's honey, I see you put a space in between the letters. That helps too. Um, but I said eyeballs. Let's see. Glenn, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Who's choosing sides? Let's see. Sometimes it's hard to catch up with the chats. Serious question. Is BRICS a good thing? BRICS is a very good thing. BRICS, let's see. Whoops, I put Cosette. That's all right. I put Cosette up. Whoa, wait a minute. I got to put up what? Where'd it go? Serious question. Is BRICS a good thing or a bad thing? Nikki's asking for Jax. Or are you asking Jax? I don't know. I'll answer it, and Jax can probably put her thoughts in on the matter. But BRICS is a good thing. BRICS is breaking the back of the central banks, and it's disrupting the plans, operations of the Federal Reserve and all the affiliated non-governmental organizations, such as WHO, such as the WEF, and it is going to be introducing precious metals as a basis for monetary system, which is our problem. Ever since that little short speech by Richard M. Nixon I played on one of our broadcasts, just like that snap of a finger, Richard Nixon said, we're not using gold anymore to back money. We are using the petrodollar. And now Trump has exposed the reality of the situation is we've got more oil under our feet than all the other exporters combined. In other words, it is plentiful. And what makes gold and silver worth more? Rarity, preciousness is precious. Oil is the second most abundant liquid on this planet. The first being water, second being oil. It is an organic product from the breakdown of organic material. Plants, life, bugs, fossil fuels are a construct that was made up in the 1960s to give people the notion that it is a finite thing that will go the way of dinosaurs. We'll use it all up and we won't know what to do. BS, okay? Oil is an organic product, and carbon is the basis for all life on Earth. Carbon is a nutrient. I've been over that too. But anyway, BRICS is going to go to precious metals. Gold does not grow on trees, okay? Oil comes from rotting leaves and trees, and it will always keep coming. They found a huge oil reserve in Russia, in Siberia, about 10 years ago. They dated the age of the oil for this huge reserve. I think it would have put out as much as I forget what it was, Venezuela, or I don't know what area, but for like 250 years, the geological study on that site. And they said the oil was 50 years old. So it's coming. That's a big scam I've been wanting to get into. I never did, but in the future I will. But I'll give you the bones of the story. How Obama, in the Obama administration, the NWO, capitalized on that BP oil well leaking. And remember that, folks? And they fined BP all that money. That's tied into the housing crash and the mortgage swapping out that was done there back then in 2000, I don't know, 7 and 8. But I'll get back to that. But anyway, what a bizarre notion. You have oil erupting out of a seabed, which happens all the time because it's a natural substance. It's like a spring breaking out the side of a hill. You know, water. Oh my gosh, look, the water's ruining the grass. I mean, of course, you know, it's oil into salt water, gets demolished by salt water. But it's an organic substance that microbes eat up anyway. But they had everybody thinking there was this big blob of oil under there that's rolling around. That was one of the theories, that it was turned into a blob. They were talking about the movie The Blob with Steve McQueen in 1950 something. And it turned out to be a bunch of horse hockey by a bunch of nervous Nellies that believe this climate change cult nonsense. Let's see. Yeah, uranium. Yeah. I'm reading Jack's. We have so many resources that's been kept from us. That's right. It's all about withholding resources or metering out natural resources to people so they can profit off our labor. Okay, and if they can get us to work like fools for rag money that is nothing but little cartoons they put on a piece of paper and they have value in it while they keep all the gold. Boy, they got it made, don't they? And that's what they've devolved us into. And it's even worse now. They don't want us to have even the little pieces of paper to run around with anymore. They want us to have it on these screens we're looking at right now. And you know that their noses are in our screens right now. They're listening to me. They're watching what you read. Whenever you pull up your little numbers on your screen, they read them. They know where you live. So, yeah, I got a meme that NPC put out, Frank, on the NPC show. Americans are about to learn why their grandparents buried their cash in mayonnaise jars. But they don't want us to have cash to bury. They want to know our business. That's one of the things I said a long time ago was the first sign of a communist. They're nosy as hell. They want to know your business. They can't mind their own damn business, but they want to know everybody else's. Let's see. Yeah, Kim. Yeah, in Zimbabwe. And it's awful to watch those kids have to go down those little skinny rat holes to go down and get lithium for us. Under the Obama administration, we closed. Whoops. I left that up there a long time. We closed the last smelting plant for lead. We can't even smelt our own lead. They've been doing that since the Dark Ages. And that's why batteries, who used to go to AutoZone to get a car battery, was $58, $64. Now it's $128, $150, because they got to ship them all the way across the ocean or from wherever. Nothing heavier and more bulkier and poisonous than car batteries. But oh no, it's we're saving the earth. We're cutting our own throats. I mean, that's what we're doing. So I think we closed 2 aluminum plants here in the last 6 months also. Let's see if there's any other questions or anybody got something they want to bring up that we can. Yeah, John, remember the ozone? Yeah, that was a big hoax. That was a big bunch of crap. All because they wanted to sell something else besides R12 refrigerant. And also the cars that were made in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. had really good air conditioning systems. GM had a good compressor air conditioning system. Toyota, and they just never leaked, never broke down. But they wanted to change everything over to what was an R32, and that meant you had to buy new compressors, new O-rings, new all this kind of stuff. If you had a problem with your air conditioner, you need to get service, because they said the ozone layer was being depleted, and it turned out to be all a big bunch of garbage. So I'm just cruising through the chats here, see what else we can discuss. I'll get to where I can put up picture shows. I'm going to do picture shows on Sundays, I believe, folks, about 8 o'clock. I'll just go through memes and funny things. There was another thing. How many of you all, well, I tell you, when they show up in the news all of a sudden, right? Jimmy Kimmel, all of a sudden he was in the news. He's making statements about Mr. T. He ended up hosting the Oscars. It's like, why this big push about Kimmel? He's been around for everybody ever. Nobody can stand him. Nobody watches his show. And then all of a sudden you find out, boom, here comes a story. Revealed, Jimmy Kimmel is close friends with Jeffrey Epstein's personal chef. Close friends with Jeffrey E.'s associate, former private chef. He called Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers a conspiracy theorist for wanting to know the names on the list, the little black book, right? And turns out he's been palling around. Yeah, Jersey Joe, that's no surprise. But yeah, it's because he's on the list. A lot of them are. And all this stuff is coming out. So the people that are going hammer and tong after Trump, they're not all communists. They could be P3DOs. They're not all P3DOs. They could be communists. Or for whatever, they could be involved in money laundering. They could be involved in any number of things. They could be like Morning Joe, who had his intern on a weekend end up in his office because she slipped and something happened where her skull got squashed. Okay, what, by herself? Maybe that's why. There's many reasons. Satan's got a lot of ways to tempt people in a lot of different things. But I say that the weak-minded and the vulnerable, the extorted, the bribed, it's all being orchestrated. And this isn't mysticism, it's Satan. Okay? The mental construct of a state lording over its people, trying to get rid of the number of people, trying to encourage ending being in a family way. And so I don't have to say the A word, the Planned Parenthood A word. That can only be a direct challenge to God's word, which is, to be fruitful and multiply. So, yeah, you can tie all those 7 deadly sins that these people are involved in, and they have to protect themselves by stopping somebody like Mr. T, stopping the majority of these people who want law and order and who believe in cherishing life. They can't let them take control, because a lot of them are going to go down for a lot of different reasons. It's not all just communists or Marxists or there's a lot of different reasons. Like I said, Morning Joe's got his reasons. Alec Baldwin's got his reasons. Jimmy Kimmel's got his reasons. Georgie Porgy Soriosio's got his reasons. They all got different reasons, but it's ungodly, and it carries penalties legal weight if they get exposed or caught. So they have to prevent somebody who's going to enforce the law from taking control. So you get a hell of an army when you've got people in that situation. Mr. Bean, how are you doing? That's right, with alcohol and drugs, greed. There's all kinds of different things, all different kinds of tools in Satan's toolbox. But then you've got a group, and there's, people know about it, that actually perform rituals, and they actually worship Satan. That we've got the Church of Satan in the U.S. Navy that has an active lawsuit against the restrictions on Roe v. Wade because it interferes with their rituals. Restricting Roe v. Wade interferes with their rituals. You can't put any more plump and blame than that. If people say, well, see, Satan doesn't exist, that's stupid. Oh, okay, tell that to whoever's on the altar. It ain't going to get off the altar. He doesn't exist. And like Ronald Reagan said, everybody that's for abortion has already been born. That's a very famous statement. He said, I noticed that. Everybody who wants to have those has already been born. In other words, the other people don't get the vote. Yeah, Tennessee says, I'm still wondering what Mr. T was getting at when he kept saying April Fools. Any ideas? I think we all should think about that. And I am thinking about it. But, he is the king of the trolls. He's living in their heads rent free. And if you think about all the people I talk about, all the different types of offenses, all the people who have got skin in the game, if Trump wins, they lose. Trump's living in their head. They go to bed thinking, how can we get him? Let's get him arrested over the Stormy Horseface thing. Anything they can try to dream up. So he knows that he's in their heads. So could he be saying that to get them to say something, do something? People who don't communicate with each other all the time, but communicate when there's an emergency, and then you find a criminal link between people. It's called chatter. To get the chatter up, get them scared. Just like when CV came out, CV-19. You saw all these communications between Tom Hanks, between Madonna with a Corona typewriter up in the corner, and Ellen DeGeneres having a nervous breakdown. And I saw something on her ankle underneath her pants, it looked like a ankle monitor. So it's such a big operation, and there's so many different things they can do. I'm sure there is a purpose. He wasn't just saying it because he was having April Fool's Tourette's. I'll put it that way. It wasn't like he was like Joe Biden stuttering or repeating things because he didn't know what else to say. He said it with purpose a number of times, with purpose. April Fools. So he could be just trying to mess with them. Because the bottom line is, if he wins, it's going to be completely over for a lot of people. Yeah, Helsinki. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Bean. Yeah, one of my first videos, it's on Bumble, shows Putin handing the soccer ball to Trump, and it plays an excerpt from Putin's press conference where he called out the money, the Hillary campaign, the intelligence officials who walked out of Russia with millions. He called them out by name, and everybody went crazy. This is a coordinated international military police action, and I think they're working under the framework of RICO and conspiracy. Okay, so it doesn't matter why you're part of the conspiracy, whether it's because you're trying to cover up what happened to your intern, or that you were messing around with somebody that was a lot younger than you on the internet. What, so many different things they can get people for, and so many different people. And like I said, if Ecuador overnight, practically, we'll say overnight, can build a facility and arrest 64,000 people in Ecuador. Look at a map how big Ecuador is. And their facility holds 40,000, brand new facility. And they reduced murders to zero at this time of the year from 300 by this time the year before. 60-some thousand people arrested practically overnight. If they can do it in El Salvador, which is, how big is El Salvador? The size of I don't know what state it would be the size of. Maybe Indiana, something like that. And it's not very big. We can construct. We've already, well, I put on my thumbnail how big Gitmo has expanded. And the photo I have up was from 2016 to 2019. Okay, aerial photographs where it's a huge size, and that official statements were that there was a large facility and an emphasis on a geriatric ward. Okay, for geriatric prisoners, old prisoners with medical needs and ambulatory assistance and all that. Oh, here's one thing I knew I wanted to go for a reason. In my other thumbnail last night, I had on there another resident, question mark. Let's all remember that the report about this Mr. Byrd, B-Y-R-D, who was a Capitol police officer that popped a young lady named Ashley, right? That we were told he was residing at a military base. No real reason given, presumably for his protection. And let's not remember that you have, let's not forget that you have, what's his face, Fetterman is, I call it institutionalized in a mental health facility, and he can't leave. They said a month, now it's up to 2 months. And he is basically confined. So you've got those two people. Now, what's the latest one? Another resident, which I'm sure is at Andrews Air Force Base. He's a sitting senator, Mitch McConnell. The article says, let me see if I've got it. It looks worse than we thought. Something like that. Mitch McConnell ain't going nowhere. Now, maybe it's for, health reasons or whatever, but I find it very interesting that he's not able to leave. They say he's in rehab, and a rehab facility is basically an involuntary. You're involuntarily staying in a medical situation. You can't leave. So that's what, I don't have the article in right now in front of me. So anyway, so you got some pretty big names in military facilities that we know of. And there's probably more. Remote viewer, put an I. I mean a 1 for that I. You're using wordy dirds. When you use I's in troubling words, use a 1. O's are zeros, fours are A's, and E's are threes. Use numbers instead of vowels for words, okay? And I don't like a lot of foul language too. Keep that in mind, please. Okay, folks, let's see. What Jack says, not just Gitmo, look how many new prisons. That's right. How many have been built? Because when the hammer drops, there's going to be so many. I mean, we all want to see these big players go, but there are so many people with antifizzle and blim. You know how to spell that, right? B and then LM, blim, and antifizzle. There's going to be thousands of them that are going to be deployed to be disruptive, to stop. I mean, that's going to be their last ditch effort. If they try a worldwide scare with a NUKE or WW3, that fails. They try to arrest Trump, that fails. I think the final go-to is going to be disruptions in the street and thousands of people making the summer of love 10 times worse than it is or was. And anybody's going to be targeted. And I mean, that's where it's protect home and hearth and be prepared. Let's see. Oh, Donna said, let me see what Donna said. I think Trump is saying that whenever one of Trump's good, effective policies get knocked down by the current, they are saying, you think your borders are safe, April Fools. Oh, well, that could be that they were playing April Fools on us, and Trump was letting us know that they were playing April Fools on us. And Quifa, okay. Baron T will be 17. Oh. Hi, Melinda. All right, Camperman, be careful, buddy. Thanks for hanging out with us. That's right, hilarious too. Got all them code words up, but you did them right. I can tell what you're saying. I just can't repeat it. Hi, Yvonne. What's concerning, honey? Don't be concerned. We just got to be prepared. And remember, we don't judge others. We recognize when people say, don't judge me. So I don't judge you. I recognize what you're doing. Like our friend Oakman said, the right to perceive, the right to acknowledge what your eyes are telling your brain. And I haven't heard from Oakman. I'm hoping to hear from him soon. I hope he's all right. Let's see who said that. Remote. Remote said, no, yeah, remote is El Salvador is small, but very populated. That's right. Somebody said there was new, B-Dog says new electrical chair at the spa. Yeah, not talking about one of those hover rounds either. One of those buggy chairs that old folk ride around in. Is a different kind of chair. Let's see. Just seeing if anybody's got any other fun things to bring up. That's right, Jack said, let them all hit the streets together if we aren't there to beat each other up. That's a good strategy. Especially if they dress, one side dresses like Trump supporters. That would be funny. Talk about something coming back to bite you. Abomination, Mr. Bean says. Okay, folks, we've been an hour and a half. Wow. So I appreciate y'all spending your time with me, your precious time. I hope y'all had a great time tonight. And I will probably go live Sunday. No live stream tomorrow. But thank you very much. And this is Mountain Man over and out.